A new NBA season is finally here, and with that comes the award races that dominate the media landscape for a large portion of the season. Now, before the season gets underway next week, I wanted to give my predictions on who I think will win the various individual awards throughout the NBA. Now, for each award, I'm going to give who I personally think will win, and then a wild card, essentially someone who you may not have considered has the potential to win an individual award, but could absolutely have the possibility to win it by the end of the year. Now, before we get started, one thing I want to say is that if you disagree with me, that's totally fine. Nobody is going to 100% agree on anything when it comes to these award predictions. If you disagree with anything, be sure to let me know what you disagree with and why in the comments. I'm not claiming that these are 100% factual predictions. These are just my opinions. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Alex, and I'm making content about the NBA all the time. So if that's what you're interested in, be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. Also, click the links in my description to follow me on Twitter, and let's get right into it. First up is Most Improved Player. This one was a really hard pick, but I personally think that Michael Porter Jr. has probably the best chance at winning it. He averaged 19 points per game on 66.3% true shooting last year, which is solid enough already. What's even more interesting is when you look at his numbers from when Jamal Murray went out with a torn ACL. From April 12th and onward, which is when Jamal Murray went out, he averaged 23.5 points per game, 6.1 rebounds per game, and he shot 48.9% from three. Given that in the best case scenario, Jamal Murray probably won't return until at least January, Michael Porter Jr. is going to have every opportunity to score the basketball and show improvements as a defender and playmaker. He's probably in the best situation to make the campaign for Most Improved Player, and I could see him averaging 25 points per game this season on some really good efficiency if given the opportunity to do so. Now, my wild card pick for Most Improved Player is OG Anunoby. As a lot of you know, if you follow me on Twitter, which you should because I'm posting stuff over there all the time, I'm really high on OG Anunoby's potential. He had the best year of his career last season, putting up 15.9 points, 5.5 rebounds, and a steal and a half per game while remaining very efficient with a 60.5% true shot percentage. His usage rate has also risen every single year of his career, going from a 12.4% usage rate now up to a 19.3% usage rate. If that usage rate continues to rise, there's no doubt that he'd be flirting with close to a 20-point per game season. Now, by no means is he the favorite, but he is a player that I could see having a breakout season and being catapulted into the Most Improved Player discussions. Now, Sixth Man of the Year. This one was honestly really difficult for me to pick. There's a lot of guys that I think you can make an argument for. I had to go with Derrick Rose. Now, picking Derrick Rose just makes a lot of sense to me, given the fact that he put up really good numbers as a starter last year, but the Knicks just signed Kemba Walker, and it's unclear right now. I would assume they're going to start Kemba Walker and have Derrick Rose come off the bench. So if Derrick Rose is coming off the bench, I think that's a role that he's really going to be able to shine in, and I could easily see him mounting a pretty strong Sixth Man of the Year campaign. Now, as far as a wild card pick goes, I have to go with Jalen Brunson. Brunson had a really good season last year, averaging 12.5 points per game on a ridiculous 61.8% true shooting. He was hyper efficient, and I would expect him to play a more significant role in the Mavericks offense when Luka isn't on the floor. He only played 25 minutes per game, and to win Sixth Man of the Year, being as close to 30 minutes per game as possible is ideal. His per 75 possession scoring numbers look really good, averaging 18.8 points per 75 possessions. He's already got the efficiency, so I think that with a higher offensive load and more minutes, he'd be able to put up Sixth Man of the Year caliber numbers. Now, for Defensive Player of the Year, right off the bat, I don't see Rudy Gobert winning another Defensive Player of the Year, at least this year. Regardless of if he deserves it next year or not, after the playoffs last year, I just don't see the voters giving it to him just because of media bias. I also don't see Ben Simmons winning it for a lot of different reasons as we're seeing unfold right now. My prediction for Defensive Player of the Year is Bam Adebayo. He's one of the few big men in the league that can guard multiple positions, averaging a steal and a block per game. Defensive advanced statistics love Bam Adebayo. He's on a team that's likely going to be winning a fair number of games this season and easily making the playoffs. So the media spotlight will be there. The media has already shown some pretty significant attention to him, which is something that always plays a big role in these awards. So it's entirely possible that he walks away with the award this year. Now, my wild card for Defensive Player of the Year is probably going to surprise a lot of people, and that's Draymond Green. I can actually thank Hoop Venue for bringing the prospect of Draymond Green winning another Defensive Player of the Year to my attention, because it's something I hadn't really thought about that much. But they've got more offensive firepower this year, and Draymond isn't going to have to focus as much on offense this year and can focus more on contributing on the defensive end. So I would expect him to get a significant amount of buzz next year for this award. He ranks in the top of the league in terms of advanced defensive metrics. He records almost 2 steals and a block per game. He's one of the only guys who can truly guard every position, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he was in the running this year. Now, for Rookie of the Year, I think the race is pretty clearly going to be between Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green. Both of those guys are in the best positions possible to maximize their opportunity to put up big numbers, so I truly think it's going to be between them. With how backlogged Cleveland is with big men, I find it difficult to see Evan Mobley getting the amount of touches that he would need in order to get big numbers to win Rookie of the Year. Now, as far as between Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham, I think I have to lean slightly towards Cade. It just really depends on how the voters decide to treat the award this year. Sometimes Rookie of the Year is just a points per game competition, and sometimes they value the guy who fills up the stat sheet more. I think Cade will be able to score well from day one while also getting a good amount of rebounds and assists, but I could easily see Jalen Green putting up better scoring numbers. Now, as far as a dark horse candidate goes, I'm going with Jalen Suggs. While he didn't have the best preseason outing in the world, he'll be playing in Orlando, where he's going to have plenty of opportunity to put up good numbers in a very low-pressure environment. He seemed like he was NBA ready in college. If he's able to beat out some of the other guards in the rotation for the Magic, he's going to be a threat to sneak his way towards the award. Now, for most valuable player, I'm going with Giannis Antetokounmpo. This isn't exactly a very controversial pick, even though I'm sure a lot of you may disagree. He's coming off a Finals MVP. He already had an incredible season last year, and it's likely that he's going to continue to improve, given that he's still shockingly young for how good he is. He averaged 28.1 points per game last season with 11 rebounds on top of that, and he anchored the Bucks defense tremendously well. He definitely wasn't going to win it last year because of voter fatigue, but there's a chance that he could win another one this year now that he's won a championship and is likely to only continue getting better. Now, my wild card, not that it's really much of a wild card given that he was a finalist last year, it's Stephen Curry. Curry led the league in scoring last year, and even though he wasn't able to get the Warriors into the playoffs, there's no denying that the Warriors wouldn't have been in the play-in tournament without him. I think that he has a great chance to win the award this year, especially now that the Warriors have retooled and will hopefully have the help of Klay Thompson, at least towards the last half of the season. Again, I want to reiterate that these are all just my opinions, and most importantly, they're complete guesses. Obviously, I can look at numbers and things like Vegas odds and try to predict who's going to win what award, but at the end of the day, it's all just a guess. So, what picks do you agree with? What would you change from my predictions? Be sure to leave a comment below and let me know. And as always, be sure to leave a like on the video because that's the #1 way to support me with the YouTube algorithm. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And once again, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks.